Welcome to Lunar Lander Explore. In this video, we will take you along for our weekend in Mendocino National Forest, where we found amazing campsites, drove along beautiful roads, and cooked some delicious food. Stay tuned to follow along for the ride. We arrived at Mendocino National Forest in the afternoon, so our first day was just spent driving around and looking for our first campsite. For our first night in the mountains, we got super lucky with our campsite. We ended up finding this spot up on top of a hill that was overlooking a lake, so we set up our camp, made some food, and relaxed for the night. The next morning we woke up and started heading up and over the Whole Mountain Road. This was a twisty, windy dirt road that was not terribly difficult, but man, the views up there were awesome. Once we got up and over the main Whole Mountain Road, we drove around for a few hours looking for a campsite for our second night. Our campsite for the second night was this beautiful meadow that we pretty much stumbled upon. We didn't really have any of our campsites planned out. We were pretty spontaneous through this whole trip. But of course, the first thing we do when we get to our campsite is set up our camp. We opened up our ARB awning and then popped up our iCamper Mini rooftop tent. This iCamper Mini rooftop tent is super fast to deploy and get ready to sleep in. That's one of the reasons why we bought this tent. It's amazing to have it permanently attached to our car. It's with us everywhere we go, and it takes about 60 seconds to set up and take down. It makes getting set up at camp way easier. It's also super comfortable. Now that our tent is set up, it's time to set up our kitchen so we can make some lunch. We have a folding table, and we have our Tembo Tusk Scottle that we use to cook most of our food.
Recently, we've been in a kind of an experimenting phase where we've been testing all kinds of dishes to cook on Tembo. And today is not an exception. We will be testing burgers. However, these are not regular burgers, these are vegan burgers. Neither Tim and I are vegans or vegetarians. However, most of my diet is plant-based. However, this thing tastes so amazing. I'm gonna lie if I say that it tastes 100% like a regular burger, but it's pretty darn close. What you put on burger, it's absolutely your choice. Cheese, no cheese, grilled onions, raw onions, absolutely your choice. But there is one thing that I wanted to share with you. Recently, I replaced ketchup with barbecue sauce, and I discovered this very delicious barbecue sauce by a company called We Love Jam, and it makes everything taste 10 times better. After we set up our campsite, we go to explore the area on foot. And Mendocino definitely has plethora of hiking trails that you can keep exploring forever. It's already dinner time. At this campsite, we were lucky to run into a beautifully set up fire ring, so we decided to actually cook over fire for a change. In my opinion, the easiest thing to make over fire is some sort of stew, and that's what we made. We made chicken stew with coconut milk. Just make sure you use full-fat coconut milk because it really brings the flavor up a notch. Also, we added some diced tomatoes from a can, makes life easier, and some broccoli at the end, and that's it. The curry was served over rice, but you could also eat it with some sort of flat bread, regular bread, or just on its own, your preference. And make sure you add some greens.
Alright, so we just woke up from our second night out here on this trip. Woke up with this beautiful meadow, slept in the iCamper Mini, slept really well, feeling very rested. And now we're going to take down the iCamper, pack up, and head to our next campsite.
One thing I would like to point out about iCamper. While it's super easy for Tim to set it up, it's a little bit of a challenge for me. I'm very short, I'm 5'2", and reaching out for the ladder while it's still folded up in the tent, it's pretty hard for me. So if you are short, just so you know, it's not impossible, but it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle until you find your perfect angle to reach the straps that you need to reach. Yes, we did eat 6 eggs, but not all at once. We made some sandwiches for the road. One thing I would like to tell you about is that I'm still struggling a little bit with having certain food items not to stick on the scuttle. I'm not really sure if I should use more oil or the scuttle needs some more time to get seasoned over time.
And after an amazing weekend in the mountains of exploring, driving, and eating, it's time to pack up and head back home.